she was having massive hair loss. The hair was coming out in clumps, and I felt like I was going to die.
Oh, I get it.
Hello, my Dons and Divas, and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. Very, very pleasant welcome. Remember, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell because you don't want to miss when I upload. So guys, today it's the part 2 of how we found out my daughter have lupus. And this is not something easy to talk about, remembering it, but I'm going to talk about it because I've realized that a lot of people out there having lupus and is really suffering. I know mentally it is very draining, but I want to let you guys know that having lupus, it is not the end of the world. And I'm going to repeat that, and I'm going to say it with strength and power. Lupus is not a death sentence. You can live with it. Life can be normal. You will be okay. But you have to be strong in whatever way it is. However you find it to be strong, you have to be strong. So lupus is an autoimmune disease. It is where the body is fighting against itself. Doctor haven't found any diagnosis of where it came from, how it came about, but for sure it has to do with bacteria, germs, however it is, but it's the body fighting against the body. So let's get straight into the video. So upon finding Miss Dawn, wherever you are, I want to say thank you so much. I really do appreciate what you did for me. And guys, the reason why I'm saying this out, I've told her thanks so many times, but I've lost contact with her. I've been trying to get to her, but nothing as yet. But Miss Dawn, if you ever come across this video, just know that I love you and I really appreciate you, and I'm not sorry the day we met. Okay, God bless. Anyway, after having hooked up to her sister's doctor, my mother told Dr. Gumbelli that they found a rheumatologist and they were going to go for that person. So they went with their blood tests that they already had done, and when they got there, the doctor said that she would have to have her own diagnosis. So mommy would have to she would have to let Marisa do all these blood tests over. These blood tests, they were sent to overseas to be tested. So you know, the money for the blood test up here so, and the money for send them go a foreign up here so too. Anyway, when the blood tests came back, before that, when she was at that doctor, the doctor gave her some medication based off the blood tests that she got. She said yes, it's lupus, but she would have to have her own diagnosis. I guess she want to have her own records, or I don't know what sense that made, but whatever, we had to do what we had to do. So the blood tests were sent away, and this was in December. So Marisa got her medication, and the doctor told her, you can eat, but it's the amount you eat and how often you eat it. So lupus, Marisa said that lupus is not like that. The doctor told her lupus is not like eczema where you are limited to what you eat, but with the lupus you have to eat a certain type of food and the amount. Do not eat too much. Do not go overboard with it. Also, because Marisa was just diagnosed. She was very, very sick. She was very, very sick. I can't explain to you how sick she was, but she was very sick. She was always in pain. She was always drowsy, and it was just a whole disaster. Anyway, the doctor gave her some medication and she went home. I remember one of the medication was prednisone. That medication is a killer. Regardless, it helps the lupus. That medication, my daughter said, it made her feel like she was dying. It gave her every side effects you can think of. Prednisone, it's not a good medication. So after she got the medication, like, she wasn't feeling better, because this was all in December. She wasn't feeling like very, very better, but she was coming on. She wasn't in so much pain and less headaches and all of that, but she wasn't going to the bathroom. That was another thing. She wasn't going to the bathroom, and it made her puffy. She was stressed, and my daughter have a big belly. Her belly big, because she wasn't going to the bathroom, and because she was so stressed that even though she was taking the medication, lupus and stress don't work well together. So you're trying not to stress, and that is what she was doing. Because remember now, all her life she was okay, and the following year she was going to turn 18 in few months, because the April would have been her birthday, and this was in December. Come on now, that must have been, you know, devastating for her. For me, it was and imagine, I'm not the one who have the illness. But anyway, she came home and she was going to school, because at the time she was in grade 11 at school, and she had exams to do, you know. At the end, I think it was, not even sure which exam, but she had exams to do. So going to school, she kept on saying that she wasn't feeling well. She wasn't feeling well all the time, even though she was on the medication. By this time, going to school, she was wearing sweater. She was always cold. She always had the umbrella, because the doctor had told her you cannot be in the sun. Her lupus is the worst one. It is called the systematic lupus. It affects everywhere. Don't play with it. Don't play with it at all. Yeah, so she was going to school. She was wearing an umbrella. Her skin could not be exposed to the direct sunlight. So when she was home, she was always inside. Yeah, because the sun wasn't good. Her eyes, no. So going to school, she was doing her exams on the, I think, like, she had 2 exams this particular day. So not the day, like, oh God. So while she was feeling sick, she had 2 exams, like one today and one tomorrow. So today, on this day, like the day before, she said she was going up the stairs, and she blocked out, and she was trying to make her way up, but instead she fell. Obviously she got help by friends at school, and they took her to the nurse, and the nurse asked her about her illnesses and what was happening. But this nurse was a new nurse, so the nurse had no idea that there was a child in the school that have lupus. So she, you know, she helped her, and she felt a little bit better. She managed to do, I don't know what she did in the exam, but she actually fell asleep. She said she fell asleep. So that exam was just, her exams were all failed. They were failed. She was, I would say she tried to do it, but at that point, being that sick, it couldn't work out. It was a 0. It was a no. It was a negative. But what made me feel good is that the fact she was sick, and she still made the effort to go do her exams. Anyway, she went home, and mommy gave her some tea, because she had went to a herbal pharmacy, and she got some herb for her to make for that she was told is good for the lupus. So she made her some tea, and when she woke up in the morning, she went to bed. When she woke up in the morning, she wasn't feeling too well. Mommy asked her if she was okay to go to school to do her exam, and she said yes, she was okay. But when she went to school, she said she did what she could. Halfway through the exam, she fell asleep, and because she was obviously feeling sick, so Um, After school, she went home and she was feeling more sick. So she went home and she went to bed. When she woke up, her eyes, they were swollen. That's where everything started to get worse now. Her eyes were swollen, and by this, they were trying to contact the doctor to let her know that how she was feeling and what was going on. She wasn't getting through to her, and every day she called, but she still have medication, so she was still taking them, but she was still feeling worse. Her hair was coming out in bulks, and it was just bad. So the doctor didn't call back, but she actually got through to the assistants. When the assistants called, Mommy explained to her to explain to her everything that was happening to her. She said she was going to pass on the message to the doctor and all of this and all of that, blah, 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 whatever. So for days after Mommy trying to get to the doctor, she wasn't getting through to her. Finally, the doctor, she called back on a private number, and she said she was going to send the medication to the pharmacy so Mommy could go there and get some medication. So when Mommy went to the pharmacy, there was no prescription nor anything at all. So that was a dead end. So because when the diagnosis came back in January that she had lupus, she was also scheduled to do a brain test. It was an MRI. I'm not sure what she was. Yeah, I think she was supposed to do that. There and then, mind you, money was run out. I have the money, and I'm thinking that this brain test is supposed to be done, and I don't have any money. While I was trying to do my best, there is just some things I could not have done because there was no money. People always say money, if money don't make you happy, but let me tell you something. If you don't have money, you struggle, you suffer, and you'll die if you don't have money. So because the money ran out, I have friends, I called them and I let them know what we had was to do, and I don't have any money. And they said, Anna, don't worry, whoever could chip in and help, they did. And guys, I must say thank you to those who helped me in my time of needs, my children and I. So I remember one friend, she said to me she was gonna ask her friend. She told her friend, and her friend offered to give me some money. I said, don't send the money to me, just send the money to my mother in Jamaica, because it wouldn't make sense to send the money to me and then I would have to send it to Jamaica. So she sent both two persons, they sent money to Mommy, and families who could do for me, they really did. And I must say to everybody who helped, family or no family at all, I must say thank you, and that I really appreciate your help. Anyway, let's move along. So when the doctor finally called and she said she was going to send the prescription to the pharmacy, my mother went there and there was no prescription. The medication wasn't finished, but because we know it was going to finish, they wanted to have re-up before. So fast forward to the date where she was supposed to do the brain test. When she went there, it was the doctor that she was going to recommended her to that doctor. It's just one link, money. Because if at this point I was thinking, if you can send the prescription to the pharmacy without my mother coming to town, where every time she had was to do blood tests and every time she had was to pay $10,000 to see the doctor, why couldn't you just put certain amount of refills on the prescription for them not to be traveling where it is costing so much money to come to Kingston every 3 weeks to a month? That makes sense. But anyway, we didn't know what was happening, so we just kept on going and going and going. So the day that, remind you, Mauricia's face is swollen, and she went to Kingston to see the doctor, because she said she was going to let the doctor write the prescription for her so she could get medication. So by then we're thinking that she would be okay. So when they went to the doctor, she was there waiting and waiting and waiting, and she couldn't get through, but she was in so much pain. So my mother was on the phone with a friend from overseas, and the friend said to her to take her to a hospital. Them now go turn her back because it don't make no sense to sit down there. So, and the child in so much pain and she not get through. So mommy went to the assistant to let her know that she's gonna take her somewhere else because she's in pain and she can't wait, blah blah blah. That's assistant, based off what I heard, is like she called the doctor called the previous doctor, and that doctor called my mommy to cuss my mother out, saying that it was because of Mauricia why that doctor was going to go there, and she was going to write the prescription, and the doctor never have to come, and the doctor this, and mommy wasn't being rude. Mommy was trying to explain to her that Mauricia is very ill, and she cannot sit and wait until whoever comes. She was so upset. The doctor was so upset, and she was so mean, but God help her soul. Anyway, she got to KPH Hospital. KPH Hospital, big up on herself. Big up on herself, me I tell you, say, that's one of the best hospital in Kingston. Anyway, she got there, and when she got there, based off what she was looking like, because by this her face was swollen. Her skin looked like she had leprosy. I'm not gonna lie, she looked so bad. She was so thin, and she had a belly. She had a stomach that was so big. Guys, I remember she don't have any hair. Her head was covered. Like, it's not gone, but the sides, they were gone, and the middle up here is no hair. And a few days before she went to the hospital, she washed her hair, and she said to me, she called me on video call, and she was crying. And I'm like, what happened to you? And she was crying. I was at work and I didn't know what to do, guys. Mr. Ball, cause I don't know is what. And then that was the time when she showed me that she was having massive hair loss. The hair was coming out in clumps, and I felt like I was going to die. I didn't know what to do, because my child that was born as a perfect baby is not doing well. She's falling to pieces, and I don't know what to do, and I'm alone, and it was so bad. Anyway, mommy came onto the camera and she told us that everything is gonna be okay. And Mauricia said to me, Mommy, if I have bald head, would you bald your head too? Would you wear bald head? Or I don't remember if I said to her, Mauricia, don't worry yourself, because if your hair is all gone, I would shave mine off too. And yeah, I would just take one for the team. We would just do it together. We're a family, and we're going through this together. So I decided at that time I was gonna cut my hair off too, because she wouldn't have any hair. And guys, excuse me, sorry. At that time I wasn't even thinking straight that she could wear wigs, but I just decided at that time I'm going to cut my hair. And to be honest, when they came off the phone, because mommy came into the room and she tried talking to her, and she said she'll do her hair, she's not going to wash it or anything. So yeah, and I was where I was thinking, like, how am I going to look with no hair? Because no, me I plan to shine my head, you know. I mean, I wear my shine head with pride, you know, because that and I got have the ear, so I can't let her feel like she's alone in this world. I have to be there with her, you know. So that was my decision there and then, not thinking I would have done that. Anyway, fast forward to when she got to the hospital. When she got to the hospital, because of how she was looking, my mommy called me and told me that Marisa was admitted in the hospital, guys. So let's get back. So when mommy told me that she was admitted in the hospital, it's like, no, I'm talking about it. It's like I'm just remembering everything that happened, like it's happening now. But she was admitted, and then Marisa said she heard that the doctor told my mommy that she was not getting enough medication. That's why all of this was happening to her. Yeah, so she was under, what should I call it? She wasn't treated. She was getting enough. She was under medicated. Is that it? I don't know, but she wasn't getting enough medication, and that is the reason why. So when she was admitted, she started getting, they had was to pump things in her body, like pump medication into her body, because she was getting really, really bad. And because the lupus is so bad, if you don't treat it well, it's going to affect your organs. The ones that she have, the lupus that she have, if you don't treat it, it's going to affect every organ in her body, your lungs, your liver, your kidney, your hearing, your eyesight, your everything. And as I told you, her hair was already falling out. Her eyes have been blurry sometimes, and her back, her joints, did I say her skin? So everything was just going bad. But anyway, because she got to the hospital, they started giving her excessive medication to control the sickness, and the doctor told her she was going to be okay. And her medication was 18 medication every day. It was 18. One dosage of medication was 18. And being in the hospital for a few days, they told her that they had to stop giving her the pills because it was taking too long to work. So they started to give her the injection that would go directly in her bloodstream. So after, you know, a few days of taking the injection, she went back on the tablets, because by now she was looking a little bit better. The doctor told her she was looking better and she's gonna go home soon. So the dosage of the tablets, they got less and less, not off completely, not, but she was getting less. And then now she have a personal doctor that she goes to. She used to go there, like, to the doctor like every 3 months, but now it's like, yeah, every 3 months, but now it's between 4 to 6 months, because the doctor told her once her patient, she see where they're doing better and they don't have to come that often, she kind of cut down the visit. But you still have to do your blood test, you still have your medication, you still watch what you eat. Also, the doctor told her medication is not good. So if once you're taking care of your body, once you eat what you're supposed to eat, take care of yourself, you can cut down on your medication. So, and the doctor told her her hair will grow back. It is growing back, but it is not growing fast. The texture of her hair has changed a lot. But I must say that going to KPH Hospital was one of the best decisions that was ever made. And right now, because the doctor told her she don't But guys, how can I forget this part? I remember one day she called me when she was in the hospital and said, she said that a doctor came there and said, why are you here? What is wrong with you? And she said she told the doctor she have lupus. She said the doctor looked at her docket that was there on the table and said that she don't have lupus. So she called me and I was so excited and like, may I say, God is good. Oh, you finna have lupus, but what you have? You not have lupus, so what you have? She said the doctor said he don't know what is it, but it is not lupus. But that doctor never came back there. We never see the doctor, but she never said the doctor again. So I don't know what was that. I don't know what was that. But guys, I want to tell you that because the doctor told her medication is not good for her, she stopped taking her medication. Like she used to take them every day. She started taking them like every other day. And it did well for her. And then she stopped taking them, like start taking them like every 2 days. Like she'll take today, she miss 2 days after and take it on the 4th day. And no, from last year August, she has not been taking her medication. She have them, and there's a pain that sticks the heart sometimes. She feels it in her heart sometimes. But when they did the heart test, it shows that there's water around the heart, but it's not too much and it's not dangerous at this point. Her heart is fine, her organs is fine, but the doctor told her whenever she feel it, she can just take painkillers for it because it's not that serious right now. So guys, I must say this, she's off. She's not off, but she's not taking her medication like how she used to. She can do without them for a while, a long time, you know. But if she have any flare up or anything, she have to have them at hand for just in case. She still go to do our regular checkup, still have to get her blood tests done because it's the systematic lupus. It's the very, very dangerous one. She have to make sure to test her eyes and test her organs to see if they are functioning well and everything, and make sure she's not stressed too much. I am not spoiling her, but whatever I can do for her not to stress, because lupus does not like stress, and I cannot stress that enough. Stress, no. Try not to stress, even though when you just have it, when you're just diagnosed, when you just hear say you're sick, you can't help yourself but stress. But try not to do too much. Try to think positive and know that once there is a life, there is hope. So guys, I want to say thank you to all my family and friends who were there for me in my time of needs. The support was physically, mentally, and financially. I want to say thank you, because at one point I did have no money to send for my daughter, and family and friends did what they could to help me. And I want to say a big thank you to everybody who helped me. Even that doctor that was not doing a very good job, I hope you have learned and is treating people better and is doing what you can to help people in a different way. It's not just about money, but to help in ways that you can. And for those who are sick and are going through pain, and I want to talk especially about lupus, it is not the end of the world. You can live with it, you can be happy, and you can smile again. I know at first it's hard, and especially when you don't have that, when you don't have the support, it's very hard. But remember, in everything, God is there with you, and He will send somebody to help you. He will send somebody to help you. But don't just sit down and be sad and thinking that you're alone. You're not alone. You are not alone. God is there, and He will send somebody to help you. Take care, be safe, stay positive, and be blessed.